So basically, what we are going to do today is we are going to do two things. I will explain the project, right? So you will have the weekend to do the project, and then we will talk about classes and objects today. Okay. So I will cover first the project because we will cover a lot of things. What we need to do, you might have some questions, and then we'll take the classes and objects. Also, we are going to do is uh, the project will be, uh, it will be like you have to work over the weekend, or if you can do on Saturday, Sunday, whatever time suits you. But also, one person will get the refund of the whatever money he has paid for the course. Whoever will do the best in terms of coding to complete the project, right? So what I will do, uh, so you have to complete the project and send it to over the email. I will tell you how to do that, and I will take the first five entries, whatever five first person will send me, right? One to five, and I will check. If I find a good project in that, I will just announce that person because I cannot check all participants' projects, right? So I will take first five, check. If I find something good in all those five, I will announce that person. And if not, then I will take next five, right? So I will take in the batch of five, and the moment I get a good project, I'll just close that deal. Okay, fair enough. Okay,
Yes.
okay. So let's understand what is our project. Okay, okay. So I created this file. I'll add more details today and upload it. Okay. So let's imagine you have a online mart called Namaste Mart. Okay, and it is currently operating in Bangalore and Mumbai, only two places, right? And it is like any website, like you can say Amazon or Flipkart, like that. You have a website and you are selling different kinds of products. Okay. Now what happens is every day some orders are coming, some orders are happening, and those orders are coming in files to you. Okay. It is coming to you. It can be anything. It can be some server. It can be S3. For us, it will be a simple folder in our system. We will assume that all the files are coming in a folder in our system for the simplicity. But in real life, it can be anything. It can be S3. So you have to download from there in Python and do it. All that stuff. That source might be different, but all the files are coming basically, right? Now, what is happening? Those in one day you can have multiple files, right? So you can have five files, 10 files, you don't know, right? You have all the orders files coming in one file. You can have 50 orders or 100 orders or 1,000 orders. It can be anything. And it will be multiple files based on maybe every hour you are getting the file, or every 2 hours, whatever transactions has happened, all the files are coming to you. Okay. Now what you have to do is you have to validate those files, all the files, right? So I put the validations, what all validations we have to do. I will come over it, but what you have to do, you have to validate each file. Okay. So I've created the folder structure. That similar structure you have to create. So this is Namaste Cart, and this is your incoming files, right? This is the folder where all the files are coming daily, right? Now there are two more folders, rejected files and success files. So every day you have to do some validations on those files. If the validation is failing, you have to move that file into the rejected files. If the validation is fine, you have to move that file to the success files folder. Okay. Now, everyday files are coming, so they will be going in the folder with the date. So, for example, if today's files are coming, they will go into 2023-06-09, today's date. Now, tomorrow when the files will come, they will come in 2023-06-10, like that. Okay. So you will go here and multiple files can be here. I have just put two files for now, but it can be multiple files in a day. You don't know. So you have to design in a way that you can handle whatever files are coming in that. You have to handle all those files, right? You don't know how many number of files will come. Okay. So once this is done, these files are there. You have to start validating each of the file. Okay. Now, few files will be rejected, few will be success. Again, in the rejected files folder, you should have a folder for each day. So if you're running for today, you should have a folder here 2023 06 09, right? And you will put all the rejected files here. Okay. And similarly, whatever files are fine, there is no validation error. You will put in today's folder again in the success files folder. So again, 2023 0609. Okay, it will go inside this, all the success files and reject files in the reject file folder each individual day. Okay.
Yeah, Ankit, one question over here. So regarding these folders, you are saying to maintain, right? So these folders,
Yeah.
we need to make it manually, or it should be created through the job, or I can say through the program.
These will be through the program. So this will be manually. Incoming files are coming, so they are coming. It is fine. You can create manually for testing. This is for testing, right? You will create some incoming files. I mean, we are not, it is not coming from anywhere. We are only creating. But these folders, these date folders should be automatically created every day. You have to create it and place file.
So under this rejected files or success files, right? The
Both,
folders.
yeah. Yeah. So rejected files and success files, once you can create this folder, and within that every day a new folder should be created and the file should be placed
Okay.
automatically from Python script.
Okay, so one
And
more.
after the processing, is the file has to be present in the incoming, or it will move from the incoming to rejected and
It
success?
will move from the incoming. No, it will be there in the incoming, everything. It is fine.
Okay,
You don't
it
have
is a
to move it.
copy. It will
It is a
copy. It
copy.
will not move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a copy, right?
Okay, just one thing. The way, I mean, the day that this process is going to perform the checks and everything is the same day that we have to create the folder for, right? Or it can be
Right.
a past day. Acha, okay.
Yeah, you can consider same day for now. It is also absolutely fine.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to the validations.
Ankit, if for a particular day no file is rejected, so if for that day also in the rejected file the folder should be created.
No, not necessary. If it is not there, not necessary.
Okay. Got it.
Okay. Okay. Let's move on to the validations. Small validations you have to do. So you have two files. One is order files. Let me open one order file. Okay, so this is simple order file. I have put just 4-5 records, but you can put more records when you do validation, right? So you have order ID, which is again a primary key. I mean, you will not have two rows for the order ID. There will be, you can assume that there will be only one row always. Okay, order date, product ID, quantity, sales, and city, right? So these are the columns you have in your orders table, right? Orders file. So there will be multiple files of this structure. Okay, and then you have another file. I think I have placed somewhere here. Product master. Okay. This is your product master file, which has product ID, right? Product name, price, and category. Okay, so these are two files mainly. If you see in this file, it is a product ID, which is referring to product ID in this. It is 100, 200, 100, 200. Okay. So when I say this order ID 1, product ID 100, which means this is iPhone, right? Price is 50,000. Okay. So these are two main. So this is a static file, right? But this will be multiple files you will be getting of all the orders. Okay. Now let's move on to the validations that you have to do for each file. So where is my notepad? Okay. Okay. So there are total 5 validations you have to do. First is the product ID should be present in the product master table. Okay, obviously that if product ID is not there in the product master table, you have to reject that file. Okay, if in a file even one record, one order rejects the validation, you have to reject the full file. That's the only issue is in order ID 1, but still you have to reject the full file. Okay, so remember that you always have to reject.
Where is that product master file?
I'll give you that file.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll give you that file. It has 5 products, that's it. Okay. Now, second validation is total sales amount should be the product price from product master table into quantity. So if you see the orders table, we have the quantity as well and total sales, right? So what should be the total sales? The price of this product into 1, and price you will get from here, right? The price of this is 50,000 into 2, right? It should be sales into 1. It should be sales. So it is fine. But if this validation is failing, then you have to reject the file. Okay, that's it. Second validation. Third validation is the order date should not be in future. So if you see any record where order date is in future, right, which is again in orders file, then you have to reject it, right? Fourth validation is any field should not be empty. Okay, all our fields should have value. If any of the value is empty out of these 5, you have to reject the file. Okay, this is fourth validation. Fifth validation is order should be from Mumbai or Bangalore only. Okay, so city should be either Mumbai or Bangalore. If there is any other city, again you have to reject them. Okay, so these 5 validations you have to do for all the orders, and whatever file has any order which is not meeting the validation, you have to reject that. Now there is one more thing with the rejection. So when there is a rejection, right? So you will reject the file, but no one will know why it got rejected, right? And because of which record it got rejected. So for every reject file, you have to create another file in the same folder and you name it error underscore file. So for example, let's assume that this file is rejected. So I will go to Namaste Python incoming files. Let's say this file was rejected. There was some issue in orders underscore 1 file. So what I have to do, I will go here, rejected files, and this file will come here, right? I will copy this file, but along with this, you have to create one more file. I'll just and the name should be error underscore orders 1, right? So we will have 2 files. One is orders 1 and one errors underscore orders underscore 1. And this file, you will have only the rejected orders. So for example, out of this 4, the problem was in only this one. So you will have this, and there will be one more column, error reason. Okay. And in this, you have to put the reason why. So for example, let's say one of the column is empty. So you will say quantity column is empty, right? Now, also, it is possible that one record has 2 issues, right? Let's say this is from Mysore, right? And quantity is empty. So you should put both the reasons here. You will say, quantity column is empty, colon, city is not Bangalore or Mumbai, right? So you have to put both the reasons, colon separated, right? These are all CSV file. You have to create CSV file only, but if there are more than one reason, you have to put both the reasons here, right? So for every rejected file, there should be one error file which has only the record because of which file was rejected, not all. And also, it is not that once the validation is failed, you have to check all the validations, because in the error reason, everything should come, right? You cannot do that. If quantity validation is failed, you will immediately reject the file. You have to reject the file, but you make sure you do all the validations so that you can put all the error reasons. Otherwise, we will not know. So if you have to notify business, right, that these are the issues, right? So they have to check, okay, and they will fix it and send it again, right? After all this is done, the last step is you have to send an email to business, right? So in the email, you should have 3 things. Okay, after all processing all the file, there should be email to the business. In the email, you have to tell that there were total in that many incoming files, let's say 10 files today, right? Out of this, 5 are successful, or let's say 8 are successful and 2 files are rejected. Okay. And in real time, we will give access to this reject folder and they can come and check the error files and mitigate all those things, right? But once one email should go, because if there is no reject file, then they don't have to take any action, right? So if there is any reject file or not, they should be notified. But the notification, the purpose of notification is if there is some reject file, then they can check why it got rejected, what was the issue. But irrespective that files is rejected or not, we have to send email. Okay. Now we have not discussed how to send email, but you have to figure out yourself, because in whatever I teach you, right, in real life, you have to figure out things yourself. So in this project, you have to figure out how to send email. Later, obviously, I will tell you, I will give you the template, but for this project, you have to figure out yourself. Okay. And you don't have to use some advanced libraries like pandas and all, because we have not discussed it, right? You have to use whatever we have learned. And within those, you can use new methods or some few new things you can use. That is fine. But it is not completely new framework, pandas and all you are using, but new functions or methods or some libraries you can use, basic libraries, right? And that's why I told you about two main libraries yesterday, which we will need in this project. One is OS, right? Because we have to work with the folders within our system, and also we need date time, right? To create these folders with the today's date and all. So I told you those two, but if you think you have to use some other modules as well, you can use it. Okay, I'll stop here. Any questions, let me know.
So use of pandas is not.
Yeah, pandas is not allowed. We have not used pandas. We have not discussed the pandas. You cannot use.
Okay. And then in the notepad, you had written the last line for that email, that 8 successful file and 2 rejected files for that day. So for that day means we need to display that day for that
Yeah,
particular.
you can mention the day in the subject line. You can mention the date also. So it will go every day. So if today's email in the validation email, and then you can put date 2023 06 09, right? You can have this subject.
Okay, got it.
Okay, any other question?
Ankit, you will be providing the data source, right?
Yeah, this
CSV files for all
this
this.
product master I will provide, right? And for orders file, I can provide some sample files which I showed you, but you can create more orders file. That is absolutely fine. Okay, but this product master I will provide you. Yeah.
How about this one, Ankit? This text file.
Yeah. This also I will upload, because you won't remember everything, right? So I will
Yeah.
upload in the folder, everything I will upload. The orders file, the product master, and this validation. I will add some more details so that if someone has not joined the session, they know. So I'll add more details and upload it in after today's session.
Okay.
Yeah, Angit, we have 3 parent files, right? One for incoming, one for rejected, and one for success, right? So
Yeah. So
all
we have Namaste card. Within that, we have 3 folders. Yeah.
yeah, so all these directories needs to be created using the program, or we can
No.
create
These
these
you can
manually?
create manually. These you can. This is one time, right? This is one time.
Yeah,
You
okay.
can create manually, but this should be the other two should be dynamic.
Okay.
This should be dynamic every day. You don't have to create manually. It should be created from the program for that day.
Yeah, the directory which is created for the date, we can create using the program, right?
Right. Exactly.
Rest all this parent directory we can create manually.
Manually. Yeah, this is one-time job, so you don't have to create a program for that.
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah.
So data file we need to create, that should be manually or automatic?
The data files you can create manually, because these are the incoming files, right? Coming from business.
Yeah.
So you can put some data so that you can do all the validations, right?
Okay.
Yeah. I will put these 2 sample files which I have created, but you can add more records or you can add more files in this directory for your testing purpose. Now, when you develop tomorrow, you have to create a new incoming folder as well, right? So that you can do manually. In incoming files folder, you can do everything manually. It is absolutely fine. But whatever is happening within these 2 folders should be all dynamic
Okay.
from the program.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. All good? Any doubts? Let me know.
Hi, Ankit.
Yeah.
The files are in CSV form, right?
Yes. All comma separated file.
Okay, so do we need to use the CSV module in Python to read these files?
No, you have to read normally whatever we discussed, right? That day, open file.
Okay. Yeah, got it.
You have to use that model, because if you start using pandas and all, then you don't need all this. You won't be able to practice list, dictionary, and whatever we learned, right? So there's no point of using CSV modules then.
Okay, yeah, got it. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Later, when we learn pandas, we will do this project again using pandas. Okay. But for now, without pandas, you have to do. Okay. and
So
you know the date. Yeah.
and how much time do we have to complete the project and when it will be discussed?
I'm not giving any timeline. So you have to complete the code and send it to me on my email ID, sql.namaste.com. Sorry, sql.namaste@gmail.com. The moment I get first 5 files, I will start evaluating it. Okay. So you have to work fast, but at the same time your code quality should be good. If you mess up things, your code is not modularized using functions and module, then I might not consider that, right? So you have to be fast but good also, right? So in a hurry, don't mess up your code. Take your time, and send a good project code.
Okay, sure. Thank
So
you.
will you be writing the code for this project also? We are explaining like how does it work?
Sorry, come again.
I mean, will you be writing the code also for this project? Or?
Yeah, I will give the solution later.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Ankit, can you please also provide some hints? We need to find it by own.
You have to find it yourself, everything. I mean, whatever, apart from email, most of the things, whatever we have covered. The only thing you have to see is how to send an email, right? You can send email to your email only for now, for the project, but this you have to figure out yourself. I will tell, but for project, you have to figure out yourself. Okay, it is simple. For Python, it is very simple. You just have to Google how to send email using Python and you will get it. That's it. Okay, so don't worry. Okay.
Okay.
Python is a big community. Whatever issues are coming, if you just Google, you will do it. And don't take help with any of your friends who knows Python and all. There's no point, right? It is for your practice, and it will be good if you only do it yourself. If you are taking time, it is taking more time, it is absolutely fine. But if you take someone's else, then there is no point, right, of this exercise. Okay, so be honest with yourself, prior to yourself, take your time. Don't worry, everyone will take time. It will take 1 day or 2 day or 3 days. Okay, write good code and then share. Okay, good. Excited for the project?
Yes.
I will tell you a lot of things you will learn during this project. This is, kind of, I have done a project, actually not exactly this in Amazon, but I have taken the idea from there only. So it is kind of, real life projects only.
Yeah, it seems like a project only.
Yeah. Okay, great. So I will upload all the files after the session and you can start working on it from today or tomorrow whenever you have time. Okay, great.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on to today's topic, classes and objects, and then I will let you go and start working on the project. Okay, so what is classes and objects, right? So we have been doing, every time I have told you 100 times that this is an object of class integer, this is an object of class string. What the hell is class and object, right? I say equal to 1, I run this, and when I say type A,
पानी का बंद तो पेस्ट हो रहा है इतना पानी.
Please go on mute. पानी वेस्ट हो रहा है, कोई बात नहीं. Please go on mute. Okay. Okay, so A equal to 1, 1 is a class, is an object of class int, right? That's what we are saying. Now let's understand what is class and object. So let's understand fundamentally what is class and object. So let's say you are going to buy an apartment, right? If you go to buy an apartment, you will go to a builder, right? And he will show you a design, right? There will be a paper on which there will be a design, right? That your apartment will look like this. There will be 2 rooms, size will be this, there will be hall, and this is the whole design, right? And then based on that design, multiple flats will be created, right? For each design, there will be multiple, maybe 100 flats of one design. And there is a 3 BHK design. and 100 flats for that, right? So that design or template is a class, right? Class is nothing but a template, right? In this case, a design, the flat design is a class. Using that class, we can create multiple objects, right? Each flat is an object. Okay. So your class is a blueprint, and that blueprint you can just replicate for multiple objects, right? So for example, I can create a class of employee, right? And it has all the details that we have to keep of an employee. And then hundreds of employees or thousands of employees are joining, you will just call that class and create multiple employees in your organization, right? So class is a blueprint, and using that blueprint, we can create objects. Objects are real thing, but classes are just template or blueprint, right? So let's understand how do we create a class. Let's see with the example, and then it will be clear. Another thing is Python supports object-oriented programming using objects and class, and it also supports procedural programming or functional programming, right? So for some languages like Java, they supports only object-oriented programming. So for everything you have to create an object, right? But we have seen that we have created functions easily, and we can get away just like that in Python, right? So it supports both procedural programming as well as OOPS programming. Okay. So let's create a class. I'm going to create a class of a car.
Okay. Ankit, okay, just one general question. Okay, in industry, which type of programming we use generally, object or procedural?
Both, actually, to be honest. I have seen big projects running only on procedural programming. I have seen projects running using object-oriented programming. Both are there, to be honest. Okay.
Okay, it doesn't mean that one is preference over other. It's depend upon the individual choice.
Right. So generally, people who come from Java background, they are comfortable with OOPS, right? So they follow that. But I have done projects where I have used object-oriented programming as well. I have done projects where I have not used at all, in the big organizations as well. So it is fine if it is there for some reason in the Python. Otherwise, everything would have been OOPS in Python as well, right?
Yes.
So it is okay. Okay. Also, in our program, we are, in this course, we are just understanding classes and objects, but we will not go in details in OOPS because this course is focused on analytics. And to be honest, we have not started any analytics things. From next week only, we will start. This is all the, we have to do the fundamental things we have to cover. Okay. But I will explain class and objects. If you have interest after the session, you will have the understanding what is class and objects, and you can, study in detail. You have the reference book in that also, or some other study material. You can study in detail if you want. Okay. So let's start with the class. So generally, whatever we do in Python, right? We define a function or if loop or for loop. The syntax is similar. For function, it is defined, the function name, and then colon. And similarly for class, you have class name. The class name, the first letter should be capital and colon, and it starts, right? So this is your class starts. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a method in this, right? When we talk about class, the functions are generally we call as methods. So I will define a method, and I will say any name. So let's say start. Okay. And I'll come to what is self. It is confusing, but again, I'm saying define start, and I'll just print starting the car. Okay. Now what I will do, this class is created now. Okay. This class name is car. In that we have one method, right? So for example, let's say we create a string Ankit. Okay. And I can go a dot, and there are different methods. You see, lower, upper, starts with, is upper, right? Similarly, we can create. So this is our own class we are creating. The string class, the int class, the float class is inbuilt. I'm creating my own class, and I have defined one method in that, which is starting the car, and I'm just doing print starting the car. So this is my class. Now I have to create an object of the class. For example, an object is created here A, right, of class string. Similarly, the class is defined. Now I have to create a object of this. So this class is done. I have come out of this spacing, right? So I'm out of class, and what I'm doing, I will create an object of this class. So I will say car1 equal to car and this, right? So what I'm saying, create an object of class car. That's it. It is not taking any argument, right? We will see how to make that happen. But for now, I'm just creating a car1. Car1 is an object of class car. Okay. So let me run this. Okay. So if you see, if I just print car1, it is saying it is an object. If I say type of car1, okay, you see, it is saying it is the object of class car. Similarly, how we saw the string, right? So when I say A, that is our string class, it is saying it is a object of class string. Similarly, it is saying the car1 is an object of class car, right? So we are creating our own classes now, correct? Now I can create another car, right? I said class is a blueprint and we can create multiple objects. So I can create another object, car2 equal to car again. I just have to call this again, right? Control enter. And again car2 is created. Again, I check the type of car2. It is an object of class car. So once the class is created, I can create multiple objects. But what is the point of creating objects here? Both car1 and car2 are same, right? We will see how to differentiate it. But once it is there, if I do car1 dot, you see this method is coming now. Similar to the strings we were seeing upper, lower, right? So similarly, for object car1, we have the start method available, which is in our class. So I will say start, and if I just call this, it is going there and printing starting the car. Right? I can again do car2 dot start, right? And again, car2 is the object of class car, and we have one method available. I can just call it, right? Now you are able to understand how the integer object or string objects are created, how we are using methods, right? Now you can make sense of it. It is important to make sense of what you are doing, if you really want to experience our language. Okay, so you have created two objects and there is no limit. You can create another car3 equal to car, and you can create indefinite number of objects from this class, right? So once the class is created, you can create multiple objects. Okay, now but this all looks same. What is the difference? Nothing, right? So that's where we will pass some arguments to differentiate between some car, right? Now, if you're coming from Java background, you would have heard of constructor. Constructor will initiate, will define the variables of an object, to identify the object. In Python, you have init function, right? To like a constructor to initiate some variables. So let me create that. I will say define. It is similar to what we created the file yesterday. Underscore init, and then self. I'll tell you what is self. It automatically takes. Now what I'm saying, I want to give 3 identity to my car. Okay, I'll say make, model, and year. Okay, then I will say self. I'll explain what is this self. Don't get confused. Make equal to make, self dot model equal to model, and self dot year equal to year, right? And I'm also assigning one more, self dot speed equal to 0 for now. So what is self? Self is an object. So when you say car1 equal to car, you are calling this class, right? And this object car1 is nothing but self, right? So you are saying for this object car1, initiate these 3 variables, these 4 variables, right? when you create an object car2 is nothing but self, that object. So that object is going in the self, and I'm saying for car2 initiate these 4 variables, right? Right. So what I'm going to do now, when I call this class, I have to pass these 3 arguments, right? So now again, let's call our class car, and I will say, so let's take first Mahindra. So I'm saying my car is Mahindra, is XUV 300 and make is 2020, right? This is, let me comment everything else for now. Okay, so my car 1 is now car Mahindra XUV 300 2020. So what is going to happen is, this, for this object car 1, the make will become Mahindra. This make is the first argument Mahindra. So I'm assigning this object of class car make as Mahindra, right? And the model is XUV 300 and the year is 2020, and speed I have hard coded for now for 0. Okay, let's run this and see what's happening. Okay, so this is done. We have an object created. Again, just check the kind of object we have. It is of class car. Okay, now we can access all the attributes of this car. So I will say car1 dot. See, it is showing everything. It is showing the method and all the attributes of this car: speed, make, year. If I check make, I will get Mahindra, right? Now let's create another car. And let me copy paste this one. And this time I will say Mahindra, that's XUV 500. And 2021, or let's say completely different one. Maruti Swift and 2021. And let's create this. So another object car1 is created. You can access all the elements of car. Sorry, I created both car1. Okay, so we have car1 and car2. If you look at car2 and you look at make, the make is Maruti, and if you look at the make of car1, it is Mahindra, right? So how easily, once the blueprint is ready, you can create easily multiple, objects, right? Without much worrying about what is there in class. You just have to pass everything, and everything, everything is ready, and you can just use that object, right? This is a simple thing. You can add a lot of things, right, in a class, and everything will be ready. That blueprint is ready. You just have to pass that individual identity of that car, and things will be fine, right? Now, if you look at this, both of them have this method also. See, start method. So if I call this method, it will just print starting the car. Okay. Now, self, we understand. Self is nothing but the object. Every time you call a class, that object is going into the self, and all the attributes are getting assigned. Now, let's say I'm creating a function accelerate. Okay. Again, we have to pass self because this is for this object, and I will give some speed here, increment. Okay. And I will say, now initially our speed is how much? 0 always, right? So I will say self dot speed equal to self dot speed plus increment. Okay. So every time you do acceleration, I want to increment the speed. This is my simple function, right? So let's again do this. So,
but Ankit, that speed is defined in that init. So will it consider that?
Yeah, so you are initializing is at 0.
So this is some kind of a global, right?
Right. This is all global.
Okay.
Right. So you are initializing it as speed, but you can change it later. Okay. So for the same object, if you see, I'm saying self dot speed, right? Incremented by whatever you give. Okay. We'll see how it works. So this is done. Now what I'm going to do, if I just do car1 dot accelerate. The new method is coming now, accelerate, right? Accelerate, and we have to pass the value. So 10. Let's say I want to increase the speed of the car by 10, right? I'll just call this. Let's call this. Okay. Now, if I check the speed of the car1 dot speed, it is 10, right? For car2, what will be the speed? It is still 0, right? We have not done anything, right? So these are two different objects. So when I say self, it is going only for that object, right? So when I say car1 dot accelerate 10, car1 object is going as a self here. And only for car1, we have increased the speed. All other objects will remain as it is, right? Let's create one more function or method. Okay. So I'm saying stop, right? Now for stop, do I need any argument? No. The moment I say stop, car should stop, right? So I don't need anything, right? I will just say stop self, and what will be the speed of the car? 0 again, right? The moment I stop it, it should be 0. And let's print it. Car is stop.
Ankit, we can also write it like self dot speed because speed is already 0, right? Will that work?
Sorry,
if we write self dot speed, will it work? Because already speed is defined as 0.
Yeah, but we have modified it, right? We increment it by 10. Now again, we want to stop it. Stop the car. So speed will become again 0, right?
Okay. Yeah, got it.
If it is already 0, then there's no point of calling stop method. If it is running, then you will call stop method, right?
Okay.
So this is done. Let's do this. So I will say car1. So acceleration is already done here. Car1 dot accelerate. So if we check the speed, and this will be 10, right? Now what I will say, car1 dot stop. Now I don't have to pass anything, right? And this self that it shows is an object only. So if I run this now, okay, I think I have not run this class.
So Ankit, if the initial value is 0 and then we again try to stop, can it perform validations also in that definition and give us the proper message accordingly?
1 second, let me do this.
Yeah.
Okay, so we called car1 dot stop. This method is called and car is stopped. And now if you check the speed, car1 dot speed, it again became 0, right? So likewise, you can create as many methods you want for this class, and then the moment you pass object dot method, that object is going as self, and all the attributes will change accordingly, whatever you do in your methods. Yeah, you can ask a question now.
Yeah, as I was saying that if initial speed is 0 only and then somebody tries to call that method, that is stop. So can it perform validations on the fly that initial...
Right. You can check if speed is already 0, if else statement, then you can print it is already stopped, right?
But that
you can do that.
That stop definition, right?
Yes, right. Right. Because only when the stop method is called, you are doing your validation. So it has to come in the stop method, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And Ankit, one more thing, okay, that like Java or C#, okay, can we define the scope of the function or variable here? Means like private, protected.
So again, if you see, so if you want to create a global variable here again, so if you see in all this we are passing self, right? So this is for individual objects, right? The moment I pass self, it is for individual object, right? But if you define something outside this, you can define here. Let's say color equal to red, right? It will be there for all the objects. So let's do this. So I run it, and I run car1, car2, and dot color. Where is color? Here is color, right? It is red. For car2 also, it is red, right? For both the classes, it is red. I have not passed red anywhere, but it is red. Why? Because it is a global outside of any, self functions, right? Outside of any init and all the functions, I have defined it. So it becomes that for every object.
So Ankit, whatever we define in the init should be passed as a variable when we are designing an object.
Come again?
Like whatever we are defining in the init,
Right.
so those variables we need to compulsory provide that to the while creating the object.
Whatever you are giving here, you are giving 3 variables, so you have to pass 3 variables when you are creating the object.
And can multiple init can be created, like multiple constructor can be created in Java like that?
Multiple and what purpose it will solve?
Yeah, with different variables. Okay, like in constructor, right? We can create with different parameters.
Okay,
like
let's
here
do
we
it.
are passing 3 parameters. Okay, we
I
can
got
pass
it.
2 parameters.
Let's remove here. That's all right. And if you pass with 2 variables, it will call this one. Okay,
Yes,
let's try.
correct.
Let me give 10 here, and then we will know. Okay. Okay, it is working, I think. Let's create an object now. I'll create 2 objects. One is with 3 and one is with 2 variables. Okay. And let's see. Init takes 3 positional arguments, but 4 were given. We are not giving 4, right? Let's do this. Oh, no, it is showing some error.
I think second definition is overwriting. First I think.
Yes, it's
Yeah, it is expecting 3 including self actually. Yeah. Let's do this and we will know. If I do this now, this is working, but this will not work. Yeah, it is overwriting. The second one it is considering.
Means here it's not working. The multiple constructor will not work.
Yes.
And also we cannot define that private protected like a scope.
Yeah. I'm not, to be honest, I have not worked on Java much, so I won't be able to, compare with Java. I studied only during initial days of my career, so not very versed with Java.
Okay.
Ankit, okay, question. So, the stop and accelerate, they are the methods, right?
Right, they are the methods. Just like for string, you have lower starts with methods. Similarly, for our class, we have 2 methods. Yeah.
And then the init is a constructor. So, what do we call these self dot? That's those make model here. What do we call them?
These are variables, you can say the variables, or you can say arguments for an object.
Okay, because in the one second, in the PyCharm, it is showing. It is giving the f as a
attribute. Maybe you can say attribute is a better word. So these are attributes of an object, make, model, year, right? These are attributes.
Yeah, but somehow PyCharm is referring them as the EF keyword. I don't understand what is that F means. But for stop, it is giving M as a, that means method.
Okay, that way, let's see. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, so if we look at one dot.
No,
this is a method.
Right? What is that speed means?
It means, I think, something related to attributes only.
Okay.
Yeah. Something related to attributes, but attributes is a good word to represent. Okay.
Ankit, isn't it the function or what? Feature.
Yeah, so
It is
confusing.
not a function. It is not a function. Speed is not a function. It
Someone
cannot
has
be.
just
Someone wrote feature, F for feature in the
Okay.
chat window.
It is a feature.
Ankit,
Okay.
Ankit,
Yeah.
the type of the car one is string, right?
No, car1 is an object of class car, not a string. So car1 is an object, right?
Object. So we are using the string functions right here,
Where we are using string functions.
like car one dot starts with stop. The most
So these are methods of car, right? So again, so when you create a string of class, a variable of a object of class string, right? A is the object of class string. So you say a dot, and then you see all these methods, right? Lower, upper, it starts with. So in the there will be a class, inbuilt class in Python, right? And within that class of string, these methods will be defined, just like how we define the method for our class car. Similar to that, right? So we define two methods, accelerate and stop. And when I create an object of this class, I can see, right, that these methods are available. Stop, make, model, speed, right?
so the type of car one is like class object.
Yeah, object of class car.
Okay.
So in Python, everything is object. The variable you assign value, it will become an object of class integer, object of class list, object of class dictionary. Everything is object, right?
Okay.
And
Can you
So
explain
what are
what
these
is
three
self
parameters you are passing in car?
yeah, these are the three that I'm passing to my constructor, right? Make, model, year. So when I call this class, I have to pass these three: make, model, and year. Three attributes. So these are the attributes of my car. So car1 object has attributes these three. Car2 has the attributes these three. So the moment I call this car1 is going into self. So I'm saying that for the car1 object, these three are the attributes, whatever we discussed, right? Right? And initially I'm initializing speed as 0, and then I have defined two more functions. You can have more functions. Stop, accelerate, brake. You can create a function brake where you can decrease the speed of car by whatever you want, by 5 or 10, right? So you can create another function, another method called brake, and it will apply brake to your car.
So Ankit,
Ankit, we
if we
don't-
write if else or any loop in that definition, do we need to again specify self dot speed or self dot any variable, or just the
So
variable?
yes, definitely, because otherwise it will not know for which object you are doing. So when you are doing self, and when you call it, right, you say car1 dot accelerate. So you are saying that go car1 as a self. So only change the attribute of this car1. So you have to so any attributes that you are accessing in any function, you have to call it as self dot attribute name.
In loops also we have to write the same self dot
Right,
whatever.
right. In loops also. Anywhere you access, you have to use self dot speed.
Ankit, here you have written self dot speed equals to 0. So it is equivalent to writing speed equals to 0 as you have written color equals to red.
Right.
Yeah. So because you
Equal
have
to red is
hard-coded.
outside. It is for all the objects, right? I'm not passing color here, if you see, but both objects have got color, right?
Yes, but because you have hard coded it, so it is equivalent, right? Because for every object,
Right.
every object of the car, it will be 0.
Right, but I cannot change it, right? Because there is no, I have not given it in it, right? So
Yeah.
all the cars will be red only. But when I give an init, I can give different attributes for each of the object. Right? Now I have defined color red. All my cars will be red. I cannot do anything. When I create an object, I don't have a provision to give color of the car. So all the cars will be red. Right? If you want all the cars should have four wheels. So you can just say wheels equal to 4. Because all the cars will have 4. Why to give 4 every time? Right?
Yeah.
Ankit, can you explain a little bit more about the self? Like, why do we need and how it is helping?
Okay. So if you see, let's create this, right? A equal to Ankit, and when I say a dot, if you see all the methods, the first parameter is self, right?
Okay.
Self, self. What is self? Self is nothing but the object. So a is an object of class string, and automatically this a will be passed as self. So what I'm saying, class is a blueprint, right? Class is a general template, right? It is one template. But when I create an object, I need to differentiate between the objects, right? So this car1 object is of type Mahindra XUV 300 2020. So when I'm passing this, I'm telling that for this object, car1 is an object. Take this object, which is the first parameter by default, self, right? So whatever object, from whatever object I'm calling, right, that will becomes your self. So you are saying for car1, just imagine we have car1 here, right? And I'm saying car1 dot make equal to make, car1 dot model equal to model, car1 dot. When I create another object car2, so car2 will go here and we'll say car2 dot make is this, car2 dot year is this. So basically using
Okay, so
self,
instead of
I'm
changing
passing
that,
the object.
okay, instead of changing that class definition, you are just making use of self. Is that what? Right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Self is nothing but the object. You can just understand like that.
Okay. Okay.
And what
By
is
self,
this?
I am referring to that particular object. Whatever object I am creating, by self, I mean that.
So Ankit, in case of accelerate function, if we do not write that cell, then the increment speed would be applicable for car1 and car2, both.
Let's try it out. So you are saying do this, right?
Right. And do not pass that cell.
Okay. So first of all, it is giving me some error. It's not used. Unresolved difference speed. Let's do self dot speed.
Speed plus equal to increment.
It did the same thing basically.
Okay.
Speed equal to speed plus increment.
Yeah.
Let's see what will happen. So I will create object, and then I will say I will create another object. Okay, and then I will say car1 dot accelerate, right? That's what we are doing. And if we see car1 dot speed, it is 0. So it is still 0. Right?
Yeah.
Because we have not passed the that we are not saying that for this object change the speed. We are just saying change the speed, and it is not changing for that object.
Okay.
It is creating some other object speed. Sorry, another variable speed, but it is not attached to self, that object, right?
Okay. But in case if we do not pass that self, still it will work.
It is working. It is creating a new variable speed.
Not here, in that function only. If we just pass increment and do not pass self in accelerate function.
He's asking what parameter. In parameter, we are passing self, right?
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah. If we do not pass that self, we just pass increment, and speed is equal to speed plus increment, something like that.
That also then this self dot speed is not there. First of all, it is there because self you have to pass to access
self is mandatory. Okay.
Yeah, self is mandatory.
Okay, got it.
But self is
Because
mandatory.
otherwise there is no point. So class is to create objects, and once object is created, you want to do things with that object, right? If you are not passing self, what is the purpose of class then?
Okay. And also, is that the constructor initialization is also mandatory, or that is not needed?
It is not mandatory. If you don't have any attributes, then you can skip it. But then in that case, your all objects will look similar, right? But how you will differentiate?
Okay. So if
but you can skip it. It is not mandatory. You can just, I showed you first class, right? There was no init in that and it was working fine.
Okay. So in case of passing an attribute, we should create a constructor of that.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Got it. Thanks.
Ankit,
Ankit,
I'm getting a none value while running one of my program.
Sorry?
While running the program, I'm getting a none as a result, as an output.
So your program must not be returning anything, and that's why it is none.
Okay, so actually what I have done is I created a class, and inside the class I created a method called start. Okay, there I'm printing starting the car. Then what I'm doing is I'm just printing and I'm initialize on object car1 is equal to car. Then I print the type of car1 and the method. So it is giving the output like the starting the car, and at the end it is printing a none value also.
You must be printing something. Are you putting it in a variable, that method? So are you doing this equal to car1 dot accelerate, something like this?
Yeah, I'm just calling like car1 is equal to car. Then I'm calling the function defined inside the class.
Okay, I think some print statement on something will be there which is printing you none. We can check it later.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Any other doubts? So this is the fundamentals of classes and objects, but you will say what else? There are a lot of other things like you can do, polymorphism, and there are, many other attributes that you can implement in a class, right? Inheritance and a lot of other things. If you want to read about it, again, you can read the reference book that I have put in the day one folder, and you can see any other video now about OOPS concept, and you will be easily able to digest that, right? You will not have that initial friction of understanding. You can easily understand this OOPS concept now after understanding, if you understand this.
Okay, in line 1, why you have written class and car first as capitalized, like C as capital?
It is mandatory, I think. So if I give car, it shows me the class name should be camel case convention.
Camel
I think it is a warning, I think. Yeah.
Camel
It is a
case
warning.
convention is there.
Yeah, it should be camel case. So first should be capital and then AR.
First should be capital.
Yeah. I think it is not an error. It will work if I just create this, but it is a general convention that it should
So
be.
I think it is from aesthetical point of view, just.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay. Great. This is all
Okay.
about class and objects. Yeah.
So we have a basic understanding of the class concept. For analytics, do we need to, go through in detail with the OOPS concept like the polymorphism inheritance, or,
No. Otherwise, I would have included that in the course, right? Because we have to learn about analytics next week onwards.
Sure.
So it is absolutely fine if you understand this much. And it is mainly because from the day one, I'm talking about class, object, this is class. So I just wanted to give that understanding what exactly it is. Otherwise, you will not be able to imagine when you are calling a method, how from where it is coming, right? You will not be able to feel that experience. So for that, I explained classes and objects so that you understand this basic thing.
Perfect. Thanks, Ankit.
Yeah.
Okay, what about the project? Does that include this object-oriented part?
No, your wish. You want to do without classes and objects, you can do it. You can do without class and objects only, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, just you can create functions, modelize it, and create the project. Absolutely fine. No plus points on creating using OOPS concept.
Great.
Okay.
Is there a way to automate the whole project using this ID? Means once we create that, is there a way to automate or schedule?
Automate it is just you will have a script, right? Main Python script. You click on it and then it should run, right? Every day. You can schedule it. You can schedule it in your command prompt. If you want to know how we can schedule, I can tell you. So Windows or has a task scheduler, right? Task scheduler. You can call the Python script and schedule it daily. Right?
Okay.
If you have a Mac system, you will have cron jobs, I think you can create because it is on Linux based, right? So you can schedule it. It is just a Python script you have to call, right? Ultimately, you will have one main Python script, main
Yeah,
py file,
I need.
and that might be calling other py files. But ultimately, there will be only one file that you have to run the whole project.
Correct.
Yeah.
Hi, Ankit. Without using class script, that means the
Your
procedure
voice is very low.
now it's audible.
Yeah, better.
Procedural programming means without using class, right?
Functions and work with them. That is procedure programming without creating objects and classes.
Okay.
There's some wind coming. Can you guys please go on mute, everyone?
Ankit, here we have created two methods. So other than these methods, we can't access, right? So if we want to create another method, then it will be accessible in this class.
Right. You can define one more method and it will be fine. Let's say you want to apply break and you will say self comes automatically here, and again a decrement, right? And I can say speed equal to minus, right? So it will decrease the speed. Now, once I create this class, create object, I will have that method available, as simple as that. So if I do car one dot, now I have break as well, right? Break, and you can pass how much you want to make a break, 5 or 10 or whatever speed. It will accordingly do it, right?
Yes.
If you want to put a validation, if you want to decrease it by 10 and the speed is 5, then it will go in negative. So you can put those validation that it cannot go in negative. So all those things can be done in the break method. Okay. So it looks like function only, but when we talk about class and object, we always call them method, right? The terminology is different, but they are the same thing, right? Because when you check here also, it shows as a method only. These are all methods. But the way you define them is same how we work with functions.
Okay.
Sometimes they are confusing. What is method? What is function? But it is all same. Just the terminology is different when we work with OOPS concepts.
Okay. For this class object, we are having these three methods.
That's it.
Okay.
Ankit, I have a question. Can't we put all the features also along with the attributes together, like make, model that we have put in the top? Can we include this speed and brake also together with the make and model, or we have to show it separately only?
So speed we are initializing as 0, right?
Yes, then after that, can we include brake, and can we include other features also along with this, or we have to show it separately?
It is not a feature, right? It is a method. I want to increase the speed, right? So I have to do some calculation and increase the speed, and for that I am defining a new method, right? If I initialize 5, then it will be just 5. You want to again put accelerator, then what?
Okay, understood.
Hey, Ankit, one question regarding project. So as we know that we need to create, file daily, right? Not file, actually folder daily. So is this like we need to automate that, like so that it will create daily or something like that?
Right. So what will happen the moment if you are running your script today, your project, right? What it should do? It should go in today's folder. So it should go, one second. It should go into incoming files and today's date folder, right?
Yeah.
Pick all the files, right? So today's 9, it will pick all the files, right? One by one, you will validate each file, right? Now, whatever file is success, you will move into this folder. This folder should be
Ankit, just one quick question. Sorry to interrupt. So in Namaste Cart, if you see, we have 3 folders, right? Incoming file, rejected, and success. So if you open the incoming files, so it will have the folder like date, right? Today's date. And so, is this like we need to automate?
So that's what I'm saying. Incoming files is you can do manually, right? In real world, this will be created automatically. From business, these files are coming. You don't have to worry about it. For the project, for the testing, you can create manually these folders.
Now got it.
Okay. But whatever is happening within these two folders should be from the script. You don't have to manually create the folder. It should automatically, script should do it.
Okay.
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 Yeah.
Got it.
What if in input files, incoming files, when I check if it is empty, let's say my script is running at 8 o'clock and still the files have not come and still it is empty. So what is the situation, how to handle it, and how to search the file, when, how to search it based on the, like, okay, the file is coming now.
So you can check if today's folder is created or not. If today's folder is not created, it means today's files have not come. The folder will only be created when the files have come. Otherwise, there is no folder for tomorrow. Only when the file comes, that will be created. So if you see folder is not there, you can notify business. You can put that also, that there are no files for today. Right?
Okay.
Yeah. That also I will add. It's a good point. So if there are no files, basically in the email should go. So there will be total 0 incoming files, we will say. Simple. If the files are not there, it should go as 0. Okay.
I believe once we start working on it, we'll have a lot of questions.
Yeah. So keep putting your question in Telegram group. Let's make this group active for this weekend. Okay, I'll respond to if you have any project related questions. You can I'll respond if there are any clarifications are required.
Sure, thank you.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, if you complete this project, you will be confident about your Python skills, right? And whatever we have learned till this week, till today, right? It is a generic things. So no matter you are going for data science, data analytics, data engineering, you are going to gaming industry, wherever you are going, these things you have to learn no matter what. And after that, it becomes easy to learn anything else, right? So if you do this project, you are halfway already in the Python. Okay, so make sure you attempt this project, put all your efforts, use Google wisely, and I'm sure you will be able to do it.
Ankit, here the classes and objects will also use, or
it's up to you. If you don't want to use, don't use. No plus points for using class and objects.
Okay.
It's up to you. Yeah. Okay.
And we have to handle always one day file. Okay, we don't have to handle multiple days files.
No, because it will be running daily. So today you will be handle today's file. Tomorrow when you run, it will be tomorrow's file. That's it. Okay. Don't worry about that you have to do backfill or something. No, on one day at a time. Okay. Cool.
Ankit, for this project, if we get stuck in any place, then we will get the solution how to do that, or it will be discussed.
Solution, I will obviously share the full project solution later, but not in middle. But you need any help, you put in Telegram group and other people will help you out.
Okay, thank you.
Will you explain the project?
The
Will you
solution?
explain this project?
The solution you are saying?
Yes. Solution.
Yeah.
Everything.
Solution I'll explain. Maybe not this week, next week, whenever it is all we are done. I will give enough time. I don't want to do it immediately because some people might take more time.
Yes.
Some people might have some plans for weekend, so they want to do on weekdays. So I want to give some enough time, and later at some point we will discuss.
Okay.
Hello, Ankit. This is regarding incoming files. So incoming files will come at a time, or it will come periodically for 1 hour, 2 hour, for every hour.
For the project, you assume when you are running your script, all files have come. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
So all the files have come. Let's say you are running at the end of the day.
Okay.
Okay. Just assume that for now.
Sure.
Don't worry about partial things. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, Ankit, Joel here. So in the init function, can we do this exceptional handling things? While we are calling it, like any error came, like if we are defining any data type for that particular variable, then can we call any
data type
exception?
as such in Python? But I don't think in the constructor you need a exception handling, but definitely in methods you can do exception handling.
Okay. So like if we want to make any, variable getting fixed, so do we define that inside or how we proceed?
Variable getting?
Like for example, if you are giving year, year mostly it will be integer, right? So I want to define year as to be integer always inside the class. So how can I do that?
So you can have a validation, right? If that you can check the type of int, right? Sorry, type of year. If it is not int, you can maybe print something, right? That I
Okay.
think you can do.
Yeah, that one, like where to define that particular thing? Is it on init or do I need to run any different?
Let's see, type of. Let's see if we can put some if else condition here. So equal to 0 within print what? This is if block.
Can we add that in the try catch mode?
Yeah, we'll try that. I think it is not giving any errors. It should work. You can put if else condition here and we can do it. I think should be fine. So when I call an object, yeah, it is printing. So you can put that validation. So you can put a validation. If the type of year is int is not equal to int, then you can print something that please it should be int. So those things I think can be done. And then in that case, you can even put a try catch within that.
But okay, that in object-oriented programming, always init function is used for initialization. Okay, not anything more. Yeah.
Right.
It is a standard practice.
You can do anything, but it is a standard practice that it is to assign the attributes of a object. It is not a good practice to put everything else, right?
Is it okay to call any other function, other module, method into this init function, so that it will check all the background conditions that I'm giving?
So if you call a function, I don't think if you call this.
Just as I told, okay, it's not used for any other purpose. Okay, it means init function is only for initialization for the attribute, not since it is used for the object at the time of object creation. That is the reason.
Another thing is that if you want to use a method, it should be there before this. So if I use accelerate here, it will not be able to find it, right? Because it should be before that. So I can't call this accelerate here, right? I have to define the accelerate first and then I can use it. So you can do all the things, but the whole purpose of this constructor is to initialize the attributes.
So what are the benefits of making these objects and classes?
So benefit is like I told you, right?
Functional programming.
Yeah, right. It makes things modularized. You can reuse classes multiple times, right? So that's and it is not just this. If you will learn more concept about OOPS, inheritance, polymorphism, then you will realize there are other advantages also that you can make use of, right?
I mean, reusing it can be done with the functions as well, right?
Right, but with the class, there are other things also comes, as I said, OOPS concepts, right?
Okay.
So that will be the advantage.
You can inherit class within class. Okay, means if you have an existing class, you can inherit that multiple function. You can override the functions.
Right.
Multiple
So, there are a lot of things if you go inside OOPS concept. Yeah. Okay, but you can read about it, you can easily digest now after understanding this. You can take any video on any book or anything and you will be able to, run through it easily.
Ankit, one more thing, like if we are creating a class, we'll call it, right, via import function and all. So how to save that class file and where to save it so that we can import it in another program?
Right. So just like we created this, right? So you can put a class in another Python file and just say import car, just like we imported other methods.
Yeah, but where to save that particular file to make it readable whenever
Anywhere. Just like yesterday we created this, right? Calc2. You can create another Python file. In that you have class, and when you import that file, you can call that class.
Okay,
So
while importing, do we need to give the path, complete path?
No. So again, I'll tell you how to do it. But if you keep in the same folder, you don't have to worry about it, right?
I think we used while we are importing this car class, right? I think we need to use this from class, like from car import, and then after that, if we want to access any methods, we can pass method also, right, Ankit?
You just have to import car, and then you can create an object of class car.
No, I think yesterday you have told some of the import function for date, right?
That was for package. If you have a package, in that case, you have to do it. So package dot the Python file name you have to call, right? But if it is directly you are putting in the same folder structure, you just import car. Or not car, actually the Python file name, right? So whatever is your Python file name, with that you import it, right? So let's say I created Namaste Python day 7. I will say import Namaste Python day 6. And once you import it, all the classes, method, functions, everything will be available to you. So in your module, so let's say this is a module, you can have one class in this module, right? This is a class. You can create a separate functions as well. To define, get, sum, it takes 2 arguments and return A plus B, right? Now this module, full module, you can just import in another Python file, and then you can access class of this module, and you can access this function as well, right? So a module can be a combination of functions, variable, classes. It is not that you should have a class separately completely. No, class is just another a thing like function we have, like that we have class. So you can have multiple things in the same module of Python.
Yeah, Ankit, like class and object are complete to OOPS concept, right? It's not related to procedure things.
Right. It is all OOPS concepts.
Yeah. So where the procedure programming comes, like till what point, how we identify whether it's a procedure programming or something else.
So again, it is not like that. It is anything. You can do whole programming using OOPS concept, or you can just do using procedural programming.
Okay. And one more thing, like this init we are defining, right? So is it always to be at the top whenever we are initializing a class?
Yes. Because the problem is if you don't initialize it first, then you can't use those in other methods, right?
Okay. Then
once you have that, then only you can access those. So for example, if speed I don't define here and you put this at up, then it doesn't know speed is existing.
Okay.
So this is a general convention that the class should start with the constructor only, the init function. And then you put all your methods.
Okay.
Okay, great. We are on time. Okay, happy weekend and have a Pythonic weekend, this one. Okay, and keep the group active. Any doubts in the doubt section you can put, and whenever possible, I will just respond.
Okay, the deadline for project for the submission. Any hard date?
So I will keep it till next weekend, to be honest. Yeah, next weekend till 18 you can do. Okay, but the moment I get 5 emails, I will start evaluating it. Okay.
Yeah, Ankit, regarding doubt session tomorrow, like when we are having it.
I'll let you know in the Telegram group. If it might be tomorrow or day after, I'll just confirm by evening.
Okay.
Ankit, for the doubt session, actually we are in different time zone. So is it possible like this
So
time?
you are in which town? What is the time for you?
It's around 10 p.m. It's around 10 p.m.
10 p.m. Okay. Is it okay if I keep it in my evening? So it will be your morning?
Yeah, it works. Yes.
Okay. So I will keep it morning, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, something, so that everyone can join. Okay.
Yeah. I think
Okay. Great.
Ankit, when do you upload these files? No, for
Just
this
in
line,
1 hour or 2 hours, I will upload all these project files. Maximum 2 hours.
okay.
Okay.
Hi,
Okay.
Antique. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. With regards to the time zones, since I'm in South Africa here, because that 6 a.m. will be like 1 a.m. in the morning. Would it be possible if maybe you can move it at, I don't know, 7 a.m. South African time, perhaps? I'm not
So,
sure because
what is the time for you for now at this point?
at this point it's 5 a.m.
5 a.m. No,
5
if I
a.m. in the morning. Yep.
it is 5 a.m., right? If I do in
Yes.
evening, by evening, it will be good for you, right?
Yes. Yeah.
We are going to do in the evening only.
Okay. Yeah. It will be much better. I think it will be in the morning when, or maybe during the day when we do it in the evening. Yeah.
Yeah. So I will do
Okay.
6 p.m. or 7 p.m. India time. So it will be,
Okay.
4 or 5 p.m. for you, maybe something like that. 6
No
p.m. Yeah.
problem. Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.